Well, it's good to be with you today. I hope that you've been following us. But the important thing is in this is a sequencing of childhood experiences of Crazy Horse. Kingsley M. Bray draws from primary sources of other biographies to construct a tragic sequencing he designates as a childhood conflict of Crazy Horse, a Lakota life. Kingsley seemingly disregards the Lakota philosophy and commitments based on Crazy Horse's cultural heritage. This relevancy is easily passed over because of European preoccupation with colonization and foreign cultural interference of choice, of understanding for what is called the American Indian. Bray sequencing childhood conflicts seems like a tragic mishap related to Crazy Horse's inherited birth in a non-European setting. Crazy Horse, as a child, was born in a Lakota society created as a social democratic nation. The freedom of choice was to expound the worthiness of each individual tribal member, men, women, youth, children, without a family member who would take their place of a deceased relative. Crazy Horse was raised by two Lakota aunts on his mother's side after the passing of his mother. Each mother came from a Tioshbae, an extended family from which his real mother came from as surrogate mothers with children of their own. Crazy Horse's childhood reasoning was based upon Lakota primal knowledge. These fundamental social and belief systems existed before his birth and after his death. He assumed the Lakota behaviors and cultural beliefs that his karma was inherited through one's traditional origin and philosophy. His childhood conflicts were verbalized by those around him and those who influenced his belief system at the time of his birth in January 1940 until his death on March 17, 1876, at an age of 36 years old. This continued encroachment of the United States and Western Europe countries had a tremendous influence upon the entire Lakota, Dakota, Nakota, and Native nations, as well as Crazy Horse as a Lakota boy child. These forced assimilation concepts created an alienation between one's native band and against another native band or even other tribes. This European diplomacy was enacted to protect foreign interests and belongings in order to build an alliance supporting foreign courses of actions. The Lakota Nation, fighting against other tribal nations for foreign monarchs' colonizations and promises as being recognized as American Indian nations internationally. Crazy Horse, as a child, witnessed these actions when his grandfather, his Tungashila, makes the strong, took him with him at gatherings and to open councils. These threats against the Lakota Nation were discussed, and actions to fight or make war was to protect Lakota lands and resources to sustain the Lakota people and nation. Crazy Horse's parents were from two alliance bands, one of the 7 bands of the Oglala Lakota Oyate, the others from the Hunkpatila known as Wazaze, the true Oglalas, Tetons extending, made up from Osage, Hunkpapa, Minikunju, Sichangu, and other Oyate Tioshpa extended groups of the northern range of the plains. He was called Curly, and Curly was light-skinned with brown curly hair, born in January, as we said before, in 1840, around with his contemporary where we are today, around Miniluzaha, Otoahe, here in Rapid City. Those older sisters, 4 years older, born in 1836, was called the Laughing One. And his younger brother, Little Hawk, was born in 1842, who had greatly influenced Crazy Horse's life. He was born Wakanyaje, a child, a sacred being. A Hokshila Chante Kiapi, a beloved child of mixed blood. Washichu Chicha. All children and babies are Wakan Woha, made sacred by the creator of everything, Wakantam Tanka. Curly belonged to the different Lakota families, groups, or Tioshpas, which claimed him as a family member with certain tribal rights and known lineage. He was not an orphan or misfortunate, but a welcome newborn arrival, having all the privilege given to him in Lakota social offerings and tribal acceptance. He was neither more nor less, but a child of the Lakota Oyate. His parents were accepting, caring Lakota adults who nurtured and protected their children first. The grandparents, brothers, sisters, uncles, aunts, close relatives, and friends taught all children the living skills, assuring within the warrior spirit, Zuya Wakan, to protect and sacrifice for the people. The children were raised to be contributors to the next generation of Lakota society, in the lineage to ensure his heritage given to them by the past generations of Lakota Oyate so as not to be forgotten. Lakota culture is based on the idea of a whole and sacred universe where life is a series of travels with a purpose. The Lakota communications with the Creator, the Great Spirit, who are sometimes equated with Judeo-Christian God. Curly, who was given his father's name, Tashunkawiko, his horse acts crazy, was also experienced of the teachings of Christian worship by the Catholic theology by Pierre Jean de Smet, the J.S. Dutch and French IPA, member of the Society of Jesus, also known as Peter de Smet. Peter de Smet had a widespread ministry work in the mid-19th century going among the native people in the Midwest and the Northwest United States and West Canada. He is said to have traveled over 180,000 miles, also advising the royalty of European nations when his travels there as a spokesman for the Lakota people in 1827. Around 1848, at the Miniconjou camp at Fort Pierce, South Dakota today, Curly was taught by Pierre Jean de Smet the English language and spoke a little English from the teaching at the age of 7. The Lakota spiritual balance and Christian beliefs became the framework of Curly's orientation. He was of mixed blood, a Washichu Chanje, Crazy Horse. He likened some Christians and other immigrants as the Philistines against Christ. He continued his knowledge in Lakota from his grandfather and relatives, besides the wisdom taught by Father Pierre-Jean de Smet. Father Pierre-Jean de Smet gained knowledge of the Native Americans' beliefs and acknowledged that Lakota society beliefs made them more Christian than supposedly the real Christian followers. Lakota Oyate people honored Mother Earth and the white buffalo calf woman, who brought them the 7 sacred rites. The Lakota practiced various ceremonies such as Wachipi, the Uipi, the ghost dance, the peyote religion to maintain their balance and health. Crazy Horse's Lakota culture, he was raised to a definite established belief system, social norms, customs, and traditions of this group of indigenous people known as Lakota. Lakota culture is based on the idea of a whole and sacred universe, where life is a series of travels with a purpose. Lakota communications with the creator of everything, the Great Spirit, who are sometimes equated with the Judeo-Christian God, sometimes the fictions of half-truths in political Christian theology, tends to judge one side more unfairly while judging one's inherent cruelty behavior. This is in sequencing of Kingsley M. Beard's Crazy Horse, A Lakota Life, draws from a primary source and other biographies to construct this tragic sequence of Crazy Horse's childhood conflicts without equal fairness to both cultures. The next sequencing will be on the imaging of Crazy Horse as a Lakota man and warrior by Kingsley M. Bray. The conflict resolution that continues between the United States government and the Lakota Nation people today. Because we shouldn't think in the abstract of the past, because the past doesn't exist now. It will not exist. Or we shouldn't think about what's going to happen in the future. It's because tomorrows don't come. There's a Lakota saying, and it says, Wakantanka, and Pito Kile Mitawa, which means creator. Today is my day, because the creator made it. It's not the past or the future, but how do we make this day ours? Every day.